Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Money Hungry Mama podcast. I am so excited today because I have another podcast host of Not Your Average Mom Pod, Estee Levin. Estee, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be on your podcast. It is kind of nice to be a guest sometimes and just like in a way just like show up and like let somebody ask you questions opposed to the other way around. So I'm excited to be here and you know, I'll talk about my own money journey and how I make money and.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, it is so true. Being able to just go on somebody else's podcast and just be like, let me just answer for a little bit. Let me just not think for a second. I love that.
Exactly. Yep.
So true. Okay, so I want to dive right in because honestly, you are a money hungry mama. You have so many different avenues of ways that you're making money. So, for everybody listening, she has her podcast and then she also has her full time job and she has a wedding planning business. And I just think that it is so interesting because they're all a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like just so many different ways of bringing in money. But I know all of you listening are probably fingers crossed of please talk about the wedding planning and do not worry, that is going to be where we start. So tell us, how did you get started as a wedding planner?
So, fortunately, I did kind of grow up in the business. My dad he was part owner in one of the wedding boats out of New Jersey when I was really young. So, from a very young age, I knew that this was the industry for me. I think a lot of people have confusion on like where they want to gear their time or what they want to go to school for. And there was always an end goal, which is working in weddings. And when I was in high school, so my dad had sold that business prior to me being in like middle school. So once I got to high school, I started working for a temple and catering venue in New York. And I really worked my way up there. It was really how I learned everything, like from setting a table to food service to timing of an event. And it was so busy. It was like bar mitzvah after bar mitzvah, wedding after wedding. Sometimes we'd have corporate events. Sometimes we would have, you know, not for profit or like school events, things like that. And when I went to college, I knew that I wanted to work in events, but I was very like, if I don't get a job in that, what can I do? So I always had my like catering job on the side, but went to school for communications with a background in PR and events and television production. I'm going to be honest with you. I never did anything with television production, like in terms of career. I just knew like I didn't want to be behind a camera. Like that was
Mhm.
just never going to be for me. But I did do PR and I did PR and events for a couple different healthcare companies so I worked on the corporate end, which the corporate end is like very fruitful. I'm not going to lie, puts money in the bank. It's a Monday through Friday. It's a 9 to 5 gig. There's a lot of perks with that. But I also like experienced more stress than I've ever experienced on a wedding. It was so much more stressful in corporate. And I didn't really plan on like leaving that corporate end, but then I really wanted to get into sales on the venue side. And I did that for many years. I worked for a couple different venues. Like I've had different jobs over time. And doing that, I just knew like planning is what I'm good at. So I always had my own company, like as a side gig.
Mhm.
And then that's what I do like on my own now.
Interesting. So we talk about it a lot how different paths lead us to different destinations, right? And it's like where you started, it's like, okay, like this is definitely going to be somewhere where she was either going to hate it and be like, never ever will I work in this, or somewhere where you were going to end up. And so it's really cool to just kind of get your whole background of where you got into the space. And I love how you said it taught you how to set a table. It taught you about timing. It taught you about all these nuances that I think when people think about being an event planner, they're not thinking of all these little nuances that actually truly matter.
Yeah. They honestly are like the core of the business, and I say this to everybody who wants to get into the wedding industry, that in order for you to be a successful wedding planner or just event planner, you really need to know the basics of what goes on the venue side. The best wedding planners I know are people who worked on the venue side in either sales or like in a food and beverage background, and then went out on their own as planners.
Love it. You know how your kids have 47 new outfits for summer and you're still rocking the same black tank top from 2019? Yeah, same. That's why I love this summer sponsor. Mauve Shop Boutique, a mom owned shop built by a mama who actually gets it. Trendy, wearable pieces that make you feel like yourself again. And here's the best part, they ship anywhere in the country, so you can fill your cart from the couch after bedtime. Free shipping on orders over $75. And use my code MHM10 because trust me, it feels fast. Mauve Shop Boutique, where you come to feel like you, and as they say, see you in the fitting room. Okay, so a couple of questions that are popping to my mind that I'm sure a lot of these money hungry mamas have been thinking about. With wedding planning, that's going to be a lot of weekends.
Yeah.
How do you honestly feel about the mom work balance of doing weekends? And is it, doable?
So, one, it has to do with what your partner also does for work. So,
Mhm.
like, if your partner has more of a Monday through Friday gig, like, yeah, you can go take that Saturday job because you're not worried about childcare. Your children are with your partner. Also, if I'm being like transparent, sometimes working that one day can like seal you up financially, like, opposed to working a 9 to 5. So, like, would you rather work every Saturday and know you basically are on call for 1 day a week? Or would you rather, like, the consistency of Monday through Friday, 9 to 5?
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not saying, like, and listen, it doesn't start out that way. It doesn't start out that way, and there's look, I can tell you, like, I do have, like, a full-time gig. I have all that because especially prior to having my son, I did this as, like, a way for extra money, my own business.
Mhm.
But once you become a mom, obviously your time is a lot more precious. So you have to decide, where do you want to see your time be filled? And like for me, my biggest thing is like, I only take opportunities now that make sense around my family. Where before then, I took every opportunity. It didn't matter if I was tired. It didn't matter if I was, like overworked, stressed, this. I never said no, now. And also with having like many years of experience, I can take a job and it's a good payday and know that like my son is in good hands. He's with my husband, and
Mhm.
go work the day, and it's not like stressful for me.
Yeah, and honestly too, like thinking about it in that sense is it's 1 day versus 6. So like to me on the out like on a different hustle journey venture, Saturdays are my non-negotiable. Saturdays are the days that I don't work, but like it's also cool to hear maybe Saturday's the one day you do work. And the rest of the week is a non-negotiable because you are there and doing all the other things. So that is really, I love having conversations like this because it's like when you're not in it, you don't realize the possibilities of what can happen from it. So hearing that is really cool. So you have your business, you're doing these things. And my biggest question that I personally have is it's going to be marketing, right? Like I feel like how are you getting your business out there so people know that you're doing weddings?
So I'll transparently, like, I took like a break in 2025. I had my son. I took a maternity leave from, like, my full-time
Love it.
job, and then I went back, and
Mhm.
now I even in my full-time work, I'm 1099. So, like, I don't get paid maternity
Yeah.
leave. which obviously sucks, but I was like, I need the time. Like, I'm a first time mom. I had a very, very tough birth. Like, physically, I needed the time. And I took like 2025, like, to really be like, I need to think about this business. I need to think about what makes sense. I need to this. And even like sitting down and talking to my husband, I'm like, you know, because I'm currently in the midst of like redoing my website, rebranding, like, and I'm like, I could do this twice a month and be like very good.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be every single weekend. It doesn't have to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna be honest, like, physically, I can't do Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my
No.
feet like that anymore. Like, I'm not like, that's out for me, but there are people who do it, and I can appreciate the hustle, and I was there for a very long time, but now, things do look different. I also don't wanna miss every weekend, like, with my family and doing stuff all together, but my goal right now is finishing up my website, putting it back out as a rebrand, something new, and then starting to market in the areas that I want to be in because God willing, I will actually, knock wood, be relocating from New York. So I'm planning to do this in a different market than where I was before.
That's exciting.
It's a lot of moving parts at one time,
Yeah.
but I do feel like I'm excited for the change. It's probably the pay structure is probably gonna be a little bit different because 'cause I'd be heading south, but it will still financially be like a good day, like in terms of money. And my plan is to do like twice a month. If I can get two, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Saturday, it could be a Sunday, it could be a Friday,
Mhm.
and twice a month. And that gives us really good extra play money to just put in the bank
Mhm.
and hold for whatever big purchases we want to make at, you know, whatever time.
Yeah, and I'm such a side hustler, so I love the fact that it's like 2 times a month and it's like, okay, like that's great money. I mean, you're talking to someone who's tried it all, like between DoorDash and Uber, like to be able to do like 2 days a month and confidently say like, "Hey, like it's good money to put in the bank." I
Yeah.
love that. So now for everybody's listening who's, ears are peaked and you have their
hmm
full attention, what goes into starting a wedding planning hustle business?
So, first things first, like if you have zero experience in weddings, you need to go work for another wedding planner. Like, you need to work under somebody who really is a powerhouse and knows what they're doing. You can't honestly just work for just anyone. And sometimes that means like interning or getting like low pay or whatever it is just to like really learn. I've had a lot of brides over time who come to me and they're like, I really loved planning my wedding. I loved being involved and I think I want to do this and they're coming from like very stable careers, right? Teachers, healthcare administration, jobs that are like have a pension and all of these things. And I'm like, look, you're coming from like a Monday through Friday gig. This is a weekend thing. You can build this while still keeping your job, which is 100% what I recommend. Like, I don't recommend leaving a job without really having anything behind you.
100%.
But I will also say that this gig is not for everyone, especially if you're not used to working the weekends or you don't really want to like separate from anything on the weekend. But listen, it's not only a good side hustle, there are also seasons where it's slower. Like when I got married myself, I got married in February because February in the Northeast is down season. So, to be able to get married, go on our honeymoon, all of these things without like being busy. So it's knowing that, there's certain times of the year you'll really be hustling, you'll really be crazy, you'll be busy. And then just like everything else, you have your down season where you get to like relax more, recoup, have your weekends to yourself.
Mhm.
So my advice is for anybody who is interested in this or thinks like it may be something, I would research like whoever are the best wedding planners in your area and see about working alongside them.
I love that. There's
Because
not
it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have your own business doing this. It
Yeah.
means you could go work for them as your side gig and like go, pick up work as you can. Maybe you're like, I can do 2 Saturdays a month for you. And
Mhm.
in prime season, they'll take it because they need the help.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think that that's like such a great add-on in there is that a lot of these side hustles, like just asking if you don't want to be the one to
Mhm.
run the Instagram and do the websites and
Mhm.
do all those things, like
Yeah.
teaming up and like asking, hey, like, can I do what you do, but like under you?
Yeah.
I love
Side
that.
hustle does not mean having to be a business owner.
A hundred
And
percent.
not everybody is meant to be a business owner. Like, I will say I'm a business owner, right? But I don't have employees. Like, when I do a wedding, it is me on that wedding. I don't, I may bring somebody in addition to me that day if I feel like I need the extra set of hands, because there are certain times that I do need that. And maybe someday it will get bigger and bigger, and I'll be like, hey, I will hire people. I will have like a second in command after me. And maybe I do take 2 weddings in a day and somebody takes one and I take the other. Like, the sky's the limit on what this could be. I just feel at this moment in my life, I can't like
Yeah.
mentally like take on like more people until I'm ready.
For sure. For sure. But that's what the freedom is in all of this. That's what the
Yeah.
freedom is in being a money hungry mama. It could be your hustle, it could be your full blown business. It's completely up to you in the season that you're in and what you're wanting. And that's the most beautiful part of all of it. Right? Like it's awesome hearing all of these different stories because they're all so different. And that's what
Mhm.
makes it great because not everybody is the same. So I gotta ask because honestly, like bridezillas, man, how do you handle boundaries of working in this industry and being a mom?
So I feel like I have more boundaries now as a mom than I ever did before. Um, I'm really fortunate to say that I haven't really come across like I haven't had like really bridezillas cross my desk. Like, yes, like I also say like I'm really meant for high maintenance clients. I am because like I can really like people who need a lot of hand holding, like I'm perfect for that because I love to tell you what I think it should be. Like, I really do. So, like, if you need a lot of direction, I'm perfect to like set you sailed in that direction. But how I always start with my clients is I'll be like, listen, what is there anybody on the day of the wedding that you would like me to give extra attention to? Because you need them either off your back or you just feel like they need the TLC and you don't want to be the one giving it as the bride. Sometimes it's the parents, sometimes it's the in laws, sometimes it's just like sister of the groom or sister of the bride, or, like I get brides who are like, well, my sister got married and blah, blah, blah. So, like, the sister thinks that they know everything. And I'm like, that's fine, So she wants to be my right hand for the day. Perfect. Like
Yeah.
I'm happy to deal with like whatever personalities because there are a lot of
Oh,
personalities.
for sure.
But I think what's funny is like, I feel like the brides get the rep of bridezilla, but I would say 99% of the time it's not the brides. It's like the parents. It's sometimes it's the groom. It's not really the bride,
I
funny enough.
love that.
Yeah.
That's so funny because you're right. Like bridezilla is a term, and obviously there is definitely people that have earned that term, but
Yeah.
there are so many other people that are playing into a part into the day where it's like a parentzilla, a husbandzilla. I love it. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay, this is fun. What is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you during a wedding?
Well, I had this one wedding when this was like when I worked on the venue side. I won't say the venue, but
Yeah.
everything was going wrong. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And it was outside of like what I like my outside of my like what I'm handling, right? Like it was really they had changed chefs like a couple days before the wedding, and like the chef in the kitchen was like making all the meat like rare. It was a day in October and it was still like kind of warm out, and they had a lot of people at this wedding. So they like and the AC like wasn't working in the ballroom. Like things that are like outside of like my control. It was at a hotel and there were two guests that got like, to the wedding, like, thinking they were going to, like, the bar of the hotel, but they, like, were in the ballroom bar, and then, like, the groomsmen were, like, really drunk, and they, like, started a fight with these guys. It was, like, really crazy. Like, it was
My
like, to
gosh.
this day, it was, like, my craziest wedding. All in all, like, they were fine, so to say, but that was definitely one where I was like, "Yeah, I could be done. Like, maybe I'm gonna change careers, like maybe this isn't for me. Like, maybe I'm not gonna be able to show my face after this one, like it was
Yeah.
a lot of things that were out of my control. But like that was another thing too, like of also having my own business versus like working for somewhere. Like in your own business, like, of what you're gonna handle, you're not gonna like, I'm not gonna tell you I can do something and then, like, not follow through. Everything that I say I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do. And if I don't know how to do something, I'm not gonna tell you that I can do it. Like, I plan your event, like, I'm not also, like, playing the guitar at ceremony,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who, like, they wanna kinda make it like they're everything.
Mhm.
Like we're a company that has DJs and this and that. Like I'm not that. I'm going to refer you to a million people that like I trust and know and
Mhm.
like that I think will work with your budget and like will make sense for you, but like I don't need the full thing under me. Like I
Yeah.
my goal is for you to have like a seamless day and to get everybody like down the aisle and back in one piece and it to be smooth and timeline to go smoothly and your vendors to all show up on time, be prepared, everything to run on time. But, I can't do every single role.
Mhm. No, 100%. It's so true. And that's like where holding a boundary is for any business, right? Like, I think especially in the beginning, we're also prone to want to do anything because it's like a chance, right? So it doesn't matter what business you're in. If somebody comes in and you're selling logos and all of a sudden now you're doing their SEO and copy, it's like,
Yeah.
no, you're not really trained for that, but you're just saying yes to everything because you're wanting to do something.
You're wanting to do something, yeah.
So I love that keeping that line of the right people are going to come. And that's just something we always need to remember. Like, yes, especially in this economy, I understand times can be super hard, as we all know, right? But your bread will come. And it's just going to be in those moments of keeping your boundary and knowing that, okay, this is
Yeah.
not a line I'm going to cross. And all of a sudden, you're going to see the people that do need you and do respect it are going to be right there. So I love that. Raise your hand if you're planning a family vacation. Sounds almost as exhausting as the vacation itself. Yeah, me too. That's why I want you to know about the summer sponsor, Wish's Family Travel with Sue. Sue is a Disney earmarked travel agent who plans stress free trips for real families. And she's especially wonderful with young kids and food allergies, so nothing slips through the cracks. Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, all inclusive resorts, even honeymoons. She handles every little detail so you actually get to relax. Because your time together is precious, and it should feel magical, not overwhelming. Adventure is out there, and Sue can help you plan yours. Follow her on Instagram at Wishes Family Travel with Sue. And remember, she's free to use. Now, Is there something that you wish couples knew that wedding planners did that they're not that they don't really know?
I mean, I think what a lot of couples don't realize is the reason things run so smoothly is because your planner is in the background making sure of that. Like, so if you don't see us in front of your face, that's because we're in the background getting what needs to be done. Like, we're 10 steps ahead of you on what needs to be done. Like, my feeling is you don't need me standing with you while you're taking your like portraits as like husband and wife. Like, you don't need
Yeah.
me standing over you. Like, you have a bridal attendant, she's like she's holding the bouquet, this or that, whatever. Like, you don't need me for that because like at that point I need to make sure the cocktail hour is ready to go. Like, I need to make sure that's running on time. Like, I like while you're in ceremony, as soon as I get you down the aisle, I'm running to make sure that they're, like, ready to go in cocktail hour so that when you enter, like, by the time you're about to get out of ceremony, I'm telling you, like, "Oh my god, congratulations, like, you guys go into the bridal suite, everybody is, like, invited into cocktail hour," like, but, like, that went on smoothly because, like, I was making sure that everything is set up. So, if you don't see me for a minute, it's not that I, like, got lost or, like, am taking, like, a cigarette break or something. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just one step ahead.
Yeah. Well, that is so good to note, right? Like, it's so funny because there are so many moving parts. So I feel like there could definitely be people that are looking around like, where could she possibly
Where
be?
could she
Like,
have
she's
gone?
already
Yeah.
in the next phase of what needs to
Right.
happen, making sure that it's running smoothly. So
Mhm.
when I was getting married, I had a friend who was starting a wedding planning business. So she did most of my stuff for me at like a massive discount, right? And she's like, I was her first one ever. She's like, I want to see if I could do this. Let me tell you guys right now, she did my seating chart. She made all of the things for me. I was like, this is like the best thing in the entire world because I don't have to do it. And I was like, this is great. She would just come over and be like, what colors are you think? Like everything. She handled everything so fantastic. And, I was like, wow, there's some people that just have really great strengths in planning, and weddings need to be one of them because you don't know
Yeah.
whose uncle hates someone's aunt. Like it could be crazy.
Yeah.
You need that buffer to be like, oh my gosh, my mom is driving me nuts. Like, go talk to her for 10 minutes. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's so nice to just have somebody like a doula's in a birthing room, a wedding
Yes,
planner is
yes.
in the wedding, and
Yeah.
I just love that. I love that.
The first wedding that I did on my own, so, like, I already had a lot of, like, planning experience and everything, but I didn't have the experience of it, like, "Okay, this is my own business, and it's not, like, something small like candy tables or this or that." 'Cause I really started out in my own business doing, like, candy tables and setups and stuff at, like, small parties, and then I was like, "I don't wanna, like, be known as, like, the girl that's doing this," because I'm gonna be honest, like, I've had certain events where it was financially made sense, but a lot of them, it didn't financially make sense, and I was working my ass off for literally, no, like, I wasn't at a loss, but I wasn't making money, and I was like, "I feel like I'm killing myself for no reason." So, I knew, like, I really wanted to do more, like, planning and, like, especially day of stuff, like, being there on the day of, and so my brother's friend, Lisa, was getting married. She's now married for, like, a bunch of years, and she was getting married at a great venue on Long Island called Harbor Club at Prime, and I was like, "Can I, like, work with you on your wedding? And, like, I will do it for free." Like,
Love
I will
it.
do it for free. Like, I and a lot of people are, like, afraid to work for free. I understand, like, it sucks, but sometimes it's just to, like, you have no idea what, like, doing one like that could open so many doors, and it was, like, so my first wedding on my own was one of, like, the best venues on Long Island, and I'm like, who could have, like, asked for better? And, like, they had a beautiful weather day. They were able to get married outside on the water. The food is excellent at this venue, and the staff there was amazing. So it was really great because I felt like I had like a great first time and I was by myself, but
Yeah.
it was nice because I knew a lot of the people at the wedding, including
Mhm.
my brother. So, like, that
It was a
was good.
great place to start. Great place
Yeah.
to start. And I
Yeah.
and I think it's so true. Like, I'm never going to never on here do I ever want somebody to not charge their worth or not see their value. But when you are just starting out, there are so many, whatever it is, systems and like things that you need to put into play. It is okay to do one for free and just get out the
Yeah.
kinks. And what you get out of it at the end is a testimony, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like, hey, go leave me a Google review or wherever you're collecting your reviews,
Yeah.
right? Like, but to me personally, I agree that sometimes it's just worth it to do something for free to know that if I mess up, I'm not going to have that pressure on me. So you'll do even better knowing that it's for free that first time. So this way, everything is worked through. Your nerves are worked through.
Yeah.
Like there's no true pressure on it because it's free that first time.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot less pressure. I will say doing work, it's funny, like doing work for people you know
Hmm.
versus people that you don't know is a lot more stressful. Like, and you don't, a lot of people don't think that. But like when I get like booked and it's like by somebody that I know, I almost feel so much more on edge than I do when it's like a stranger.
No, 100% because you don't want that.
You don't want anything to go wrong, and then,
Yeah,
like,
it's
you're
this
hearing it from the
weird.
people you know.
100%. It's this weird middle. And I think it's so funny that literally, guys, I say this all the time, but whatever I think about during the day ends up being on this podcast. And I was thinking about so a lot of creators and a lot of people always tell you to tell everybody you know. Like go up to every single person that you know that you're doing this business because you never know who's going to help you, what all those things, right? I'm a little bit different, and I know everybody's probably no, I really am. I am a separate person here on the Money Hungry Mama and doing my business. Like this is a completely separate person than if you see me at my son's baseball game. We exist together, but we're different people in a sense of I don't go around telling people all the things that I do in my business. It's very
Yeah.
much a I'm Noah's mom in that space because to me, they're different. Right? And I never want to be in a spot where this is a personal opinion. I'm at his game and somebody wants to talk about work. And now I'm not Noah's mom anymore. And then if some, like, it just is very different for me in that sense. And because I think there's a lot of pressure that comes from knowing people. Like, if they're in my real life, that's who I am. Like it's like I am their mom, your kids are playing. There's no messy middle for me there. Here, it's a different story. And for me, that's why I keep it super separate because I never want
Yeah.
it to be. I remember this one time, like I always did, author visits in my kids' school, especially when they were younger, because. But this year, my son he's turning 9, and the kids Googled me. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this was a big eye opener for me that his friends are going to start realizing what I do in this space and being on here. And I don't think I ever thought about that when they were younger because it's like, oh, like they don't even know how to
Yeah.
spell. They're never going to get to Google. So that was like another reason why I have things very separate. And that's why I wanted to bring it up here today because I do remember there was this one author and she had her kids' names in the books. And it's really great and it's so sweet when they're young, and I have my kids' names in
Yeah.
the book too. But as they got older, her older son started getting made fun of. And it's like all the things that we don't think about when we're doing it with little kids to go into this space of being a teenager. And I just think, food for thought, because I literally was thinking about this today and I was like, okay, like I'm really glad I kept a lot of this stuff separate from her story, but I learned it from her story.
Yeah.
So just little food for thought in that.
Well, I'll also say, like, to touch on that a little, is because I have, like, this is my side gig, right? And I do work in the wedding industry doing something totally different than this. I keep those things very separate.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some people are like, "Well, how do you do that?" And I'm like, I just do. That's just what it is." Like, if you are working on, like, event rentals for your event, then you know me as, like, Esty with High Style Event Rentals, and that's how you know me, and we're working on rentals. If you are looking for a hotel block for your wedding, You know me as Estee with Kleinfeld Hotel Blocks. That's what I'm helping you with. That's what I do. And then, but like, if you're looking for somebody for like planning for your event, you're working with me in my business, and you definitely know me on a different level.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
like,
Not surface at all.
no, not service.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. And I think that's like something that I love this conversation because it's not something I thought about. If I didn't see her story, 6 years ago, I wouldn't have kept Brittany separate from, because all the creators and everybody's like, tell the world, make sure everybody knows what
Yeah.
you're doing. And it's kind of true. And it's almost like I've been kind of treating it like a little bit of a superhero esque, right? Like I always have glasses on here. And in my mind, I'm like, if I take them off, you're never going to recognize me at the baseball field. But like, that's just like kind of how I've been living this life. And it's just something that I hope all of you that are listening to us kind of talk about, that there's a lot of pressure when it's people and all those things, you know, you kind of take into consideration for whatever you're doing. And, there's nothing wrong with either way. It could be it's an either or. It depends, especially depends on what you're doing, right? So
Yeah.
take that with
And
what you
that
will.
you can do
Yeah.
multiple things
Mhm.
and get it all done. It's just what makes sense for you financially and your time. Your time is worth something. And on top of all of that, what works best for your family. I do a lot of work at night. I do a lot of work at night after my son goes to bed. Other people like they couldn't even think about doing that. Like, oh my God, at 9 o'clock, like you haven't shut off. No, because I am on all day, like for him. And I'm so fortunate that like I have him home with me. Like, and we go and we do all these different activities together, and I'm enjoying my time as a first time mom
Yeah.
and getting all
As
these
you should.
things with him. And then I'm like, and then when he goes to bed, like that's when I get a lot of my work done. And like, I keep trying to like say this to myself too. What works now may not work in a
100%.
couple years from now. And then like we'll pivot again.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I'd be where like sometimes like all day long goes on and I didn't get like any work done. And then I'm like, ugh. But one day, like my son is going to be in school. And, like, he's gonna be gone for all of these hours. So, like, then, kinda like the rest of the world, I'll be working during that time, and then when he comes home, like, it will be different, and I won't be working at that time. So it's like I'm kind of going with what makes sense for my family right now, where like, I worked like a complete dog before I had him, like, didn't matter if it was, like, early morning, late night, weekend, whatever. Now I'm just like, I enjoy working, I enjoy making money. I don't know anybody who's like, "I hate
Oh,
making
yeah.
money." Like, we all love making money, and truly, like, my money right now, I'm just like, we have another activity for my son,
Yeah.
Like, we like, we're putting it in the bank or whatever it is, but I'm fortunate that, like, I worked out, like, a whole situation for myself where I'm still working, I'm still making money, I'm still in the industry that I love, I'm able to, like, still have time to do my podcast and this and that, while really getting to raise him and be involved in the all day, day to day. But I also wanna, like, give credit where credit is due. Having the right partner in your life is the biggest flex when it comes to building not only business, but business while you have a family. Like, I like, those like reels, like I didn't marry a loser. That's exactly it. Like I did not marry a loser. I married a winner. My husband is like handling my son, my dog right now. Like they're chilling. They're all good on the other side of the door, like,
Yeah.
and, I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will get even crazier when I add more kids to the mix, but, like, right now I only got 1, so, like.
Yeah. No, shout out to all those partners out there that are taking all the kids to do drop offs and to Costco. Shout out Tom. And like that's what he's doing right now while we're doing this podcast. And I just want to jump back for a second because It's so true. Time does change, especially as they're growing. And I think that that's what makes us like so used to being able to just roll with the punches, right? Like the Money Hungry Mama was written between 8 to 10 p.m. when the kids went to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, everything is shifted and it's shifted into times because they are in school during the day.
Yeah.
And I have that time now to kind of move things around and make sure that I can get things done in the daytime because now I spend most of my time at a gymnastics class or dance or
Yeah.
baseball. And it doesn't sound like it's exhausting, but oh my gosh, I get tired at 8 p.m. I'm like, I just want to like veg out and
Yeah,
just chill.
yeah. Listen, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
like on a night like tonight, right? Like for example, it's Tuesday night. Today is June 9th. It's a last, episode of Summer House Reunion. Like my son is gonna be in bed by like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm laying in bed with my laptop, getting some emails out while laser focused on the summer house reunion and then in the city. Like no, like Bravo doesn't want to see me coming, you know? Like I'm like, I got my snack, I got my show, I got like, it's like, I still need that
A
unwind time,
hundred
but sometimes
percent.
I'm like, I'm getting worked. Like the most successful people can like juggle a million balls in the air. And I think you even see that more once becoming a mom.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm momming all day while working, while figuring it out, while making sure there's food in the fridge and dinner on the table and you just do it.
Yeah, you do. You don't it's so crazy because I think of who I was before a mom, and I say this and if you're new here and you've never heard me say this, I am not the same person I was before having kids. What in any scope of anything. I'm not I still have empathy, I still have heart, I still have characteristics, but I'm not the same person. Because I think there's just something that, and this is like they fueled me. They fueled me
Yeah.
to do all of this. If they weren't here, this wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having a conversation. I wouldn't have tried as hard as I did or hustled as hard as had. I wouldn't have had a traditionally
Yeah.
published book. None of this would happen if those three did not exist. And I think that that is something that is just so incredibly beautiful because we're not just moms. We become these unstoppable
Yeah.
humans that just set out to whatever we want to do. And it's like, I could make humans, I could go build a business. And I
Right.
think that's why I love this space so much because money hungry mamas, they are just truly a different breed.
I want to jump on that and just say that, by the power of social media, we see so many reels in regards to motherhood that are like, it's one of two ways, like either being like the boss in charge, getting it all done, doing it all, this and that, or you're seeing like the moms who lose their self in motherhood kind of like trends. And like, I don't agree with that second one at all. Like, I feel like if anything, like since becoming a mom, it's fueled me to want more and do things and all that. But it's also given me clarity that Rome does not have to be built in a day. And right now I'm 34 and I have to do like what makes sense for me at this moment. Like I have a young son, God willing, I'm going to have more children in the near future. And then I'm like, my life's going to look totally different again at 40. And that doesn't mean that like maybe right now my business, Eventpire, right, is a small business and just me. But like maybe at 40 or 45, I'm like, hey, you know what? My kids are in school. They don't need me in the hours of 8:30 to 3 or whatever it is. I'm going to go out and like I'm going to do all my networking. I'm going to build this big business. I'm going to do all this and start making it big then. And it was hard, not hard for me to wrap my head around, but I was feeling like, God, am I making a mistake not going like so hard with my business right now? And I'm like, you know what? My heart wasn't in it to go that hard. And I'm like, but I do think that eventually it will be. Like the time will change and then I'll be like, you know what? We're going to go for it a little bit more so than going as hard right now.
Yeah, and that's okay, right? Like it's all coming down to the timing, right? Like I wanted a break with my second, and I was like, I didn't even get to enjoy my first. He went back right at 8 weeks. I cried almost every day in the classroom, and it was like I had to leave him. And it's like
Yeah.
you think differently, right? Sometimes, and like you said, there's everybody has different reactions to everything, and I truly believe that it really does depend on your village that you have behind you.
Yeah.
100%. I do believe that. So everybody is feeling different things, but I think it's all dependent on who's in their corner.
Right.
And as far as me, I was very sad with that. When my second came, I thought she was my last, my daughter, and I was like, "I'm just gonna enjoy this. I'm just gonna work on my books." And I helped, somebody build a coaching business for authors and all this stuff. And I was like, "Okay, well, now I'm gonna hang up my hat and I'm gonna go back to teaching, and that's it, right?" And then there were two pink lines, and it was Luke, and it was like God had another plan, and He's like, "Nope, you're not even close to done." And now, if it wasn't for Him, 3 years later, I would have already been back in the classroom and probably never would have gotten this published deal. I would have never continued this journey. I would never have this podcast. And it all happened because God gave me one more, which is a wild concept to think about.
Yeah.
But it all
I
happens in time.
Yeah, this is like a weird story that I kind of like forget about, but I actually was working on the venue side up until August 2023. And I actually got like laid off from my position. And it was really, there was part of me that was like, how could you lay me off? Like, I'm Estee. I literally am like the hardest worker at this company. Like, I don't understand, like how? But I ended up getting a job remote with Kleinfeld, where I still currently am. And I was like, I had never worked remote in my life. I had never ever worked remote in my life. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be so weird. And I had weekends off. So I was like working from home. I had weekends off. It was so bizarre. Like, I was like,
Crazy.
oh, I was like, I'm going to build up my business. I'm going to do stuff. And I did. Like, I did build things for my business. With that being said, though, I was off for like 3 weeks in between the my previous job and then the new job, and it was the longest I'd ever been off. Like 3 weeks fully off. My husband and I
Wow.
like drove to Florida. My husband worked remote for 2 weeks. We were like away for 2 weeks. He worked like remote a little bit, took a couple days off on vacation.
Yeah.
I was like fully off, like living my life fully off. No, mind you, no baby yet, no anything. And then I started this work from home job, and the job was good, but I was like, this is so weird to be home all day. Like, there were days I literally didn't get out of like my robe. Like, I'm like, this is so strange. But that's when I ended up doing a round of IVF. And I was able to do the whole round without taking any time off and being home. And it was like, I would have never had that opportunity, or the opportunity would have looked very different and been a lot more stressful if I was in that other job.
100%. Everything happens for a
Happens
reason.
for a
You
reason.
literally cannot convince me otherwise. You cannot convince me otherwise. There are things that were placed in front of me that I prayed and begged God for, and the door didn't happen. And it just was like a close. And all of it has led to this moment and this conversation and talking with you, right? Like every single thing happens for a reason. And it's so crazy true, but it's just wild. Like if everybody's listening, if you sit down, really sit down one day and think about where you started when you truly started working till now. It's not linear. It's not just crazily like perfect in one direction, but there's something in that timeline of what hustle is meant for you, of what you should be doing, of what you should be putting out into
Yeah.
this world, because it's there. It's there. I am so convinced that it's all in front of us, but sometimes, like, I'm the type of person that's like, "Show me a sign," and then it's like flashing lights, and I'm like,
Oh,
"It
yeah.
wasn't big enough.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't
big
big
enough.
enough. Roll it back."
I'm the same. I'm the exact same. I'm like, I could be like, I just need God to give me a sign. I
Yeah.
need him to give me a sign. And like, he'll give me 7,000
Yep.
signs, right? Like, I mean, I got laid off from a
Yeah.
job that I was good at in a field that I was like incredible for. And I'm like, and I still like, I was just like, "Oh, no, like, it's not the time to, like, really do my business. It's just not the time,
Yeah.
now we're gonna go down the road for IVF. It's just not the time," like, whatever. And, like, I will say, and I know you feel the same, is having a baby really fueled me to be like, "Okay, I can do this, this, and this while still, like, operating the household here." And,
Yeah.
like, so it's like household is here, everything else is here. Right? Like, I'm like, my son is here, everything else is here. But by managing this, all of this works. Like, it's just I feel like, as moms, we really can do it. We can do it all. Not every day is great.
Oh,
I don't
100%.
wanna, like,
Yeah,
I never try
100%.
to be like the mom that's like, "Oh my God, well, what do you mean
Nope.
everything's perfect?" Like, no, there's plenty of days where I'm like feeling stressed or overwhelmed,
100%.
or I'm like, why am I doing all of this or whatever? But I know, like, the end goals are worth it. And to be able to do everything that I'm doing and working around my family. And that's a whole point of like having side hustles. It's a whole point of, you know, working as a woman, especially when you become a mother. It's very hard because like everything is still on you as the mom. But like you do want to come to the table with money. Sometimes you have to.
You have
And
to, mostly, yeah.
I mean, and others is just because it's nice to know that you have like your own thing coming in. Mine, I guess you could say, is a little bit of both. We live in New York, it's extremely expensive. Like I could not work, but things would be like a lot tighter and more stressful for us. And I'm like, I'm happy that like I'm able to work, but make it all work around my family.
100%. 100%. Everybody knows my story, and I couldn't even afford diapers, and I was hysterically crying in Costco, and that is, you know, something that I openly share because it could be either way. It could be a forced or it could be
Yeah.
because you want to, and either one is great. I talk about her a lot, but what she said really resonated when she was like, doing LML beads, I'm Jessie. Like people just know me as her. And I'm not
Mhm.
so and so's mom, I'm me. And I think that building something that's yours and
Yeah.
stepping out into vendor events and stepping out into social media and introducing yourself at networking events, like that is a space to just be you. And I think that
Yeah.
it's really cool either way, whatever you're going to do. But to know that this hustle is so much more than money. To
Right.
building something that's yours is so much more than money. It's your job can let you go at any time, but when you control it and all of a sudden your son's coming in hysterically crying because he has strep or
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to be a mom first. And I think that
Yeah.
that's what's amazing about being a money hungry mama. I mean, honestly, Essie, we can literally talk all day, but I know these mamas have things to do. So I'm going to ask you the last question. What
All
does
right.
being a money hungry mama mean to you?
It means, saving that money for the future, for a rainy day, for the vacation that you want, for the extras in your house that you want to buy. Having that side hustle or any hustle is really to have the add-ons in life. And we're all capable of more if we want more. And I feel like for me and having my son, like these extra cash is more stuff from that I can sign him up and do with him. Whether it's swim lessons, whether it's the music class I love taking him to, the mommy and me. Like if anybody would have told 27-year-old Esty that 34-year-old Esty would be like gearing up, excited for Thursday music class with her son, I would be like, are you sure we're talking about the same woman? Like, but it does shift. And, you know, being a little money hungry it's not a problem. It's a purpose, and anything to fuel your fire is a good thing.
100%. 100%. Oh my gosh. So well said. Where can our listeners support you?
So you can follow me at Not Your Average Mom Pod. I'm taking everybody on the journey of my first time motherhood, everything that I'm doing, my wellness routines. I interview different moms who are also business owners on my podcast, and they really do things to help other moms or help babies and children. So that's on Tuesdays. I drop a new episode every Tuesday. And
Yeah, I was just on there recently. So if you
yeah,
guys want to scroll back a couple months, you can hear me getting interviewed, which is so nice sometimes.
so
Esty, it
fun.
was a pleasure to have you on here.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to speak with you soon.